Hello, everybody, and welcome to our online event, How to Improve Customer Service, Chatbots versus Live Chat. I'm hosting this event today, and I'm joined by Ilkka Vertanen and Annu Karhu. So let's go a little bit around the table and introduce ourselves.
Hi all, my name is Ilkka Vertanen. I'm the head of sales for GetJenny and here to share with you lessons learned from the past 6 years working with live chat and chatbots.
Hi, I'm Annu Karhu and I'm a customer success manager at GetJenny. I worked with dozens of customers, making sure that they can teach the chatbot and get it live as easily as possible and in as good shape as possible, and then making sure that from there on they'll have a lot of use of the chatbot.
Thank you. Okay, so I just want to quickly go over the agenda for today. First, we'll do a short introduction of why we were doing this and a few definitions to start off with. And then we'll go through live chat and chatbots, what comes first. And then we'll be going a deep dive into chatbot and customer experience. How do chatbots affect customer experience? And then how do you get chatbots working with your customer service teams? Then we should have like a short 10-minute question and answer session. So in your Zoom app, you should see a Q&A panel where you can ask questions, and I will select a selection of them towards the end of the online event, and we can get them answered live on air. Anything which is not answered live on air, we'll do our best to answer in the next few days. You can post them anonymously or under your own name. Either way, it's quite all right. Okay, so for the first thing is we want to really find out why we were going to do this. So like Ilkka, we went to Chatbot Day 2019 last month, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you guys were listening to a lot of speakers and stuff, and like what were your findings there? And what like made you want to do this?
So as we were attending the chatbot day, we heard from quite a few speakers that you need to have two things before you can actually utilize a chatbot. And according to those speakers, these things are basically functioning live chat and considerable amount of kind of chat logs, chat history, previous conversations to use then to actually utilize a chatbot effectively.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go through a few definitions now. The first thing, I'll be talking a little bit for this one. First thing is chatbots and live chat. For chatbots, we provide 24/7 self-service support through messaging, whereas with live chat, it is during your office hours and it's human support. So you're talking directly to a human. Chatbots automatically solve like up to about 87% of issues, but like it can be from 50 to 80. 50 is a pretty good resolution rate. It depends on your industry. With live chat, of course, being human agents, they can handle pretty much whatever issue is related to their support, they can handle them. Response and resolution times in terms of chatbots and live chat. Experienced agents handle about 2 to 3 issues at once, but the response and resolution time is definitely like based on the size of your support team, whereas with chatbots, you can pretty much set the time it will respond and resolve questions, and it's usually under about 5 seconds. And also chatbots can handle thousands of visitors at once. The downside with chatbots is they solve frequent issues, only the ones that they have learned. The next thing we want to go into is bot whisperers. And a bot whisperer is a customer service expert in your team that teaches the chatbot. These are people who have first-hand knowledge of the common issues in your company. And they will teach the chatbot before it goes live, and they maintain it afterwards to make sure it keeps on learning and keeps on automating more questions. it's very important that they are maintaining it constantly, and we will get back into that with Annu later on. So yeah, let's go into live chat and chatbots. What comes first? So Ilkka, just to talk about live chat and chatbot first of all, what are like the main misconceptions that we get with chatbots and live chat that people usually have?
Yeah, so there are basically for both of these tools a specific misconception. In case of chatbots, that would be something related to what we started with the reference to Chatbot Day. So people, companies do think that they actually would need to have a wide history of chat conversations before they can, and a live chat in place before they can start utilizing chatbots. And based on our learnings and way of working, this is not true. You can actually start chatbot first. And we actually see that being a trend at the moment. Companies jump in using AI before they actually utilize the human resources. Then in case of live chat, how live chat is quite often advertised and sold is that it's super easy, super simple to kind of start. You only need to add one script on your website and you're off to the races. But that's actually not true. Well, yeah, it's true. It's easy to implement technically, but what's complex and difficult is then how do you organize the agents, the human resources around that new tool. In case you might even need to hire new people to man that new customer service channel. So it's not like done like this.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if we're gonna do, as you said, like some companies are doing live chat theme before a chatbot, what sort of data would you need to gather before you implement that theme, the live chat theme, that is?
So kind of from looking past conversations I had with quite various companies from different industries and different sizes, there were few questions that pop up frequently. So before we can start with a live chat, for example, who would answer these questions? Who are the best people to answer these questions? And at what time does the questions come in? What are our peak hours? Should we have someone working the chat, like for example 8-9 p.m., or can we do with just business hours? And also, what are the topics that customers want to discuss with us using chat? And those topics are then relevant to kind of, again, who should be answering the chats from the organization side.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. So Annu, what are the main things you would need to start before doing a chatbot in general?
Well, basically, when you first decide to take a chatbot as a part of your customer support team, I'd say even, you need to have a team, like a dedicated team, let's say 2 or 3 customer support agents, also known as bot whisperers, as mentioned. They are the people, as Ilkka said, who have the knowledge. So they are the ones who are taking care of those questions coming in, and they have the expertise. They know that what's usually being asked from them. So they're also the people that I think, in my opinion, I think we all agree that they're the ones who should also be teaching the chatbot, telling the chatbot that what it needs to know to actually like get a good start. And basically, when you have those, when you have the team, when you have those people who are there teaching the chatbot, then I'd say that you can just come up with, let's say, 50 to 70, 50 to 80 most frequently asked questions, and teach those to the chatbot in the beginning. Make sure that it can answer those. And then since from there on, once the chatbot goes live, then you will actually start getting input. You'll actually start getting questions coming in. And then from there on, you can continuously teach the chatbot and make sure that it gets smarter, I'd say. Yeah, so basically you need to have a team and you need to have your FAQs. And then you have a very good like starting point there.
Thank you. Like, let's say, for instance, you don't have a live chat team, Ilkka. What are the things that a chatbot would provide you if you want to plan doing a live chat team at some point?
So actually, before answering that question, I
Yeah.
can also clarify that those bot whisperers we mentioned, they don't need to be live chat agents. So they
Yeah.
can be any customer service agents working any channel, whether that's phone, telephones, or social media, whatever
sure.
channels you have to use.
Yeah.
And and then to your question, basically those things I listed earlier. What are the topics that customers want to use the chat for? When are they using the chat? Evening, business hours. This sort of data is something that you can collect when you go in chatbot first. So it's as Annu mentioned, you need to only have those 1 to 3 people training the chatbot, and it's not a full-time commitment.
No,
Also, so it's something that they can do among their other duties.
Yeah.
So with those, with that team available for you, you can test the waters for the live chat. So you will learn answers to these questions, when and who should be available for chat, to add the kind of personal level for the chat channel after the chatbot.
Cool. Yeah, that like really tells me that there's a definite benefit between like to have your chatbot first, I think, before you plan a live chat, like a much more efficient system to do it. Like, I think we should move on a little bit to chatbots and customer experience and how chatbots like affect customer experience. So I have like a question for you on Annu. Like you were saying like 50 to 80 questions.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, like what if I have a website and I'm I'm a bit concerned.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 50 to 80 questions that the chatbot can answer, but then there's nothing else.
Yeah.
And I've just introduced my chatbot. How does that affect the customer experience on their end?
Well, that's a good question, and that's something that I kind of like a concern that I ran into almost daily with our customers as well. So they're thinking that can we actually do this, and I don't know how will it make our website look. But I'd say that it's what kind of, I think again we all agree that it's better to have a chatbot than no customer service there at all. So basically, once you go live with the chatbot that already knows answers to the 50 to 80 questions that you've already taught it. And then I think the wording makes a big difference there. So, well, first of all, the chatbot should already in the beginning, it should explain that what it's there for and what it can do. So I can answer questions related to this and this. Maybe that's the first step. So you can start with that. And then if it doesn't know the answer, so it's never, it doesn't stay silent, so it will always answer something. So I think the answer that it gives there has a huge impact, because if the chatbot says that, hey, sorry, I don't know the answer to this one yet, but my human colleagues are teaching me more all the time, and maybe next time I'll know the answer already. So kind of giving promises like this, I think is a very, very important thing, and considering the customer experience. So we will kind of tell the customer that even if I don't know this now, I'll learn. And also what I'd say, that one of the other most important things is that it can still give the visitor an action point. So I can't help you at this moment, but hey, here's a link where you can find the contact details, or here's a link to our FAQs. So here you might be able to find the answer that I was not able to give you at this time. So just basically making sure that it still gives you the action point and tells you what to do from here on. So little things, wording, and also then making sure that the bot whisperers do fulfill their promises. So if you promise something that in a week's time the chatbot will be able to answer something, then you of course have to make sure that it will be.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm going to move to like a functionality that chatbots have with live chat. So like, let's say we don't have live chat. One of the most powerful functions with chatbots is that if they can't answer the question, they normally transfer to a live agent in live chat. Now, if I'm implementing just a chatbot on my website, this worries me a little bit because I'm like, okay, there's no live agent to hand off to. So, Ilkka, like, how would you allay those fears? Like, what other possibilities are there if you have a chatbot?
Yeah. So let's just say it out loud in the beginning that the best possible solution is that you actually have the both. So chatbot and the live chat. So AI and the agent team working there. But if you just have the chatbot, then there are certainly the things that it can handle and the ones that would need an transfer and escalation to agent. And if this is not possible, then it kind of comes down to the managing the expectations of the customer. So a bit building on what Annu said earlier, if there is a thing that chatbot cannot answer, or for some reason the company doesn't want it to handle, it can guide customer to another channel, or it can even through integrations and built-in functionalities, such as, for example, sending an email, it can collect information from the customer, say that we've heard you. We are taking care of this now. This is now the company map is on this, and our team will be handling this and be in touch with you, or whatever is the promise that you as a company give, let's say next business day.
Yeah.
So we are on it. So the customer gets a peace of mind, and he or she has done kind of her part in the matter.
Okay.
And also, I think this is a kind of good point to address that live chat is something that your customers, they want to use it. A live chat in terms of as a channel, no matter if it's handled by AI and or humans, chat is what your customers want to do, and it's a known fact. So if you have a chatbot and no team, or no agent team, that's better than not having the chat at all.
Yeah.
Annu, do you have anything to add?
No, basically that's exactly what I thought as well. But I think that's something that we really can't emphasize enough, that it's better to have something there that you can use for collecting those questions than not having a channel for people to come in and leave those questions that might otherwise be left unanswered. So I think that in that way, it's very important that you kind of provide some kind of channel for your visitors. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Like in terms of, I don't know, like other than providing support, or I suppose managing the expectations of the users, what other benefits would there be to having a chatbot on your site where it's there for users to use, even if it's without live chat, but just having the chatbot widget there?
Yeah, I think the kind of one kind of big aspect here is that it makes you as a brand, more approachable. But then, kind of on a very practical level, there's kind of behavior that people learn and started to see happening quite often. So there are people who kind of use the chatbot as a way of navigating the website or the company services. So it's kind of a new evolved version of on-site search. So people are using it. Well, some are using it even in a way of keywords. So rather than having a full sentences and normal dialogue, they use just kind of a let's say insurance, car, and get.
Yeah.
So, and I expect an answer from that, which is actually looking at the kind of a bigger picture again. It's quite interesting that we're able to see that there are people using the chatbot as a search engine, and then there are people who are having discussions with the chatbot and AI without actually even realizing necessarily, even though the chatbot would state it out loud that it's an AI and not a human. So we see the whole scale there.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so I think we would like to cover chatbots working a little bit with customer service teams next, and Annu really knows the details about this. So yeah, like you've been extensively helping out customer service teams for quite a while.
Yeah.
And like you're working with customer service agents, and like I wonder myself, if what's their reaction to having a chatbot, like before they even come across it, when they start working with it, and then when it's like live, like what's their reaction to having a chatbot?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, because I think that you can see, of course, like with everything in the world, you can see different kinds of behavior and different kinds of kind of perceptions. But what I've noticed is that there's always those people, or those, I want to use bot whispers here now because that's my favorite term. So there's always those bot whispers who are really excited, and they're like, hey, we have this new colleague, and this is great, and we want to make it as good as possible, and it's awesome that it's going to help us do our job even better. And then there's, of course, those ones who've been doing the job in one way for a long time, and they might even be a bit scared of kind of that, what is this chatbot bringing along, and do we know how to actually like utilize it well. And also the concern that we talked about before, that thinking that how will this affect our website, and we're really proud of our customer support team at the moment. So what if the chatbot actually doesn't know the answers, and what if it will like somehow, I don't know, decrease the satisfaction with our support team? So these are the concerns. But then once, at least based on my experience, what I've noticed is that once we go into more detail, and once we go through like how you can train the chatbot and how you can actually adopt it as a part of your customer service team, and how it will help you to take care of those repetitive questions, and how it will leave you more time to concentrate on those more meaningful tasks, then usually the bot whisperers grow into it, and they start noticing the advantages really fast, and they start noticing that, hey, this is actually a really good thing. So basically, also one concern that I've noticed is that as we go along, it might be that they think that, hey, our chatbot is not ready yet, that we don't want to go live with it yet. And so that's something that I often tackle. I'm like trying to convince them that, hey, it doesn't know everything, and it can't know everything from the beginning, and basically will never learn everything. But it's just good to decide at one point that now this is good enough. Now we'll go live with the chatbot, and once it's there, we'll start getting those questions. And the most important thing there again is that they devote time after the chatbot goes live, that they devote time, and they make sure that they are there continuously training it. So first there's concerns, then they notice that, hey, this is not a bad thing at all, and then they notice that, hey, people are actually asking questions from the chatbot, and we're learning a lot from it, and then we can help our visitors even better in this way.
And if I may add, isn't it also so that when you give the control to the customer service team to build the bot, then it actually comes, the kind of term new colleague is correct.
It is.
Then it's a friend.
It's a friend.
It's not something that's implemented from the outside of the team.
No, it's a friend, because usually they even name their chatbot with some like actual human name, and then they start, and we start talking about the chatbot with the actual name, and it starts kind of feeling like it's part of your team, and hey, this and this chatbot is doing this and that. So yeah, I mean, definitely it does become part of your support team. Yeah, but of course it can never be a person. So it's still, everyone remembers that it's still a chatbot. So and then it's the bot whisperers, those actual human agents who have the empathy and who have the possibility to then take care of those more meaningful tasks.
Yeah. Like out of interest, did you mention it earlier on? What's like in terms of doing a chatbot and bringing a chatbot online? I know that we kind of disagree with this time frame, that it might take weeks or months to gather the data, put a chatbot online.
Yeah.
Like how long does it actually take to put a chatbot online and like then make it start learning straight away?
It can be super fast. So it can take some weeks depending on how much you want to spend with it. But for example, last month we have a customer, Colliers International Finland, who went live 8 days after the kickoff. So, and it was one of the fastest go lives GetJenny so far. So basically we had a kickoff and they did not have like data gathered together before that. So after the kickoff, they put together the frequently asked questions in a Google Sheet. We imported them to our Jenny configurator. They did the additional steps needed, taught it a bit more, and 8 days after they went live. And from there on, they've been continuously training it. They've been doing a really good, like it's a team effort. So all their teams have been working together, and they've been really paying attention to the chatbot, listening kind of to the questions that are coming in, seeing that, okay, well, these are actually the questions that we're being asked. And now we can teach the chatbot based on these. So that it's good that they did not spend too much time teaching the chatbot something that's actually never asked, but rather that they are teaching the right things to it. So yes, very proud of them.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
It means that they actually know what the customers want rather than guessing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now in terms of like, yeah, it's another thing that concerns me a little bit. I'm always concerned, you know. So like, let's say Ilkka and Annu, this is a question for both of you. I want to implement a chatbot on my website. I don't have a live agent team. I don't have a live chat team, nothing like that. I just have some support functions, which is like phone, email, contact form. Now, like I have heard that it's easier for live chat agents to be like bot whisperers to work with a chatbot because they understand the medium of messaging. Are there any challenges for more traditional support workers or agents to implement a chatbot in their teams?
No. They no. Giving it a short answer, no. A bit longer is that any kind of customer experience, customer service agent with experience and understanding about the cases they face can train the chatbot using at least our platform. The whole idea we have is that you don't need to worry about technical things and machine learning, AI, natural language understanding, and those. It's just super simple to use. So using that and having the understanding of the customer issues and how to solve them is all you need. Certainly kind of a logical thinking does help, but no kind of any specific requirements.
Annu, do you have anything to add?
Basically, I think that's exactly what I also had in mind, that at least with our customers, I've noticed that many of our customers might not have had chat before they decided to take a chatbot into use. And still the knowledge coming in from those customer support agents who before had been handling phone calls and emails, it's huge. So the information that's coming in, that's the beef there. That's what you need to have. So it doesn't matter where you've been doing that, as long as you have the expertise.
Maybe this is also a good part to mention that chatbot, whether you have a live chat or not, it does affect the other channels as well. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean that the actual service volumes would be reduced. Then that's usually due to kind of having some sort of bottleneck somewhere, so not all the customers who would like to be served are served before the chatbot. But what it does is that as people have a channel that's easy to approach and fast to use 24/7, they get the kind of a typical questions, the FAQs answered immediately, and the other channels, for example, in case of one of our customer, Varma, the kind of nature of the calls they get nowadays after the chatbot has changed completely. It used to be all kinds of FAQs to more complex matters. Now it's just the complex matters that come to the phone.
Yeah. Wow. So no frequently asked questions to the phone at all.
They have the chatbot for those.
Yeah. True enough. Okay. I'd like to. Yeah. So I think we're finishing up a few minutes early before the questions, and then we'll do the questions in a few minutes, but let's do a quick summary of this. So yeah, like chatbot is better than no chat at all. I think that's your main contention, Ilkka.
Yes. So your customers want to use chat again, and that's a known fact, regardless of industry or demography or anything. And if you can't or don't know how to get started with live chat, chatbot is a good option to get started.
Yeah.
Or the best option to get started, actually.
Yeah. And you should implement a chatbot before live chat. That's another one of your big points here, I think.
Yeah, being in this industry, helping so many different companies, I've seen the kind of challenges that they face outside just the technical implementation of the live chat. So rather than guessing who should be answering and when they should be answering, with a chatbot, you can easily learn that data. And then rather than building on guessing, you can build actually on knowledge.
Thank you. And Annu, I think, trust your customer service team. I think that's,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, they're the heroes. Yes, trust your customer service team. Trust that they know the data, they know the questions that are coming in, they know the frequently asked questions and the answers. They're the ones who should be teaching the chatbot. And I think that I'd rather trust them than like huge amounts of data, because they, at the same time, when they know the answers, they can also teach the chatbot to kind of answer or talk in a way that has some kind of human touch.
Yeah.
So they have the human touch in the teaching already.
Yeah. And I remember, I think I was talking to Ilkka a little while ago about this, and it's not just the frequently asked questions that you want chatbots to do. It's also the chatbots that require a huge amount of work, isn't that right? So like, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to go into detail to this, but you're the expert.
No.
But yeah. So like, not only do the humans know the frequently asked questions, your agents, they also know what questions they don't want to do, because it's a lot of work for them, and it takes up their time, even though it might seem like a simple question, and it might seem like it doesn't come up too much. So then they can focus on like the really complex ones.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you both. I'm gonna have to go through. I've been so immersed in you guys that I haven't gone through the questions so much, but let's go through them now. Yeah, so we've gotten a few questions in. Okay, let's answer this one. An anonymous attendee has asked, how about changing the live chat solution? So can you still continue with the same chatbot solution, or the other way around? So I suppose this is for you, Ilkka. It's like, yeah, if they want to change their live chat provider, can they do it if they're with a chatbot, and so with GetJenny and so on?
Yeah, so certainly I can only speak from our point of view, but we actually have had some customers who have, for various reasons, either because of upgrading their existing chat platform or changing to maybe more comprehensive contact center solution, including a new chat tool. They've been doing the changes, and when using our platform, you build the knowledge, the question and the answers, and the intelligence on our platform. We can just basically, disconnect to the old chat they are using and connect to a new one, and no data or effort is lost there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let's go for another one, which is, okay, you don't have chatbot. I don't have chatbot. I don't have live chat. What are the concrete steps to get started?
I think the very first question that you as an organization need to answer is, what is my goal? What am I trying to accomplish here? Am I going for the 24/7 service? Am I going for better customer experience as a whole, more productive team, or more sales leads, or increased conversion on the web shop, or whatever is my goal? That's the one that kind of sets these things in motion. And once you have clear understanding of that, then you can start building towards the comprehensive platform, including both AI and the human agents. And then you can plan the steps to get there. And as already mentioned here, I would suggest going in a chatbot first, and then organizing that chatbot kind of around that goal that you've decided on. And then also when you're comparing the vendors, you know what kind of things to ask when you have a clear goal in mind. And one thing that's good to take into account is, for example, how do these all things play together? So if I select now this chatbot, can I plug it in later to one of these potential live chats that I'm considering? And for that, you actually need to speak to vendors probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a call to action coming on that later on.
Yeah. Can I just quickly add to this one that these are really good points. And from my point of view, I also want to remind that it's good to already in this phase include your customer service team in this process or phase, because it also, like, as with the questions coming in, but they know the customer support field in your own company so well that it's good to hear their views and their ideas and then kind of start building from that as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got a question from Karen. How do you collect input from your customers about their experience with the chatbot? Do you send out a survey, perform feedback calls, or something else? How do you measure this over time, go live, then continuously, and with what frequency?
Yes, we stay in touch with our customers quite a lot, and we have a pretty good face-to-face conversation frequency. But also, and we have emphasized the fact that we want to keep our lines open. So whenever they have some feedback to us, we really welcome it. But we do send surveys. Also, what our customers do is that they often, what you can do, for example, with our chatbot, is that the chatbot can ask for feedback from the end users. So all the end users already can tell that how their experience with the chatbot was. And then we go through those feedback together with the customer, see what's been happening, what could this mention, how can we improve this. So we do stay in close touch with our customers and make sure that if there's something that needs to be improved, then we also improve it together with them, of course.
Yeah, and I could add, we also do see companies using kind of their existing channels for collecting the feedback. So there might be a new question or regarding the chatbots, but kind of using questionnaires sent after an interaction with the brand, or in some cases having the link inserted in the chat window or the chat conversation for the customer to answer. And then if you use both of these methods or just one of them, also kind of depends on the larger pieces of the puzzle that you're building.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
Yeah, really good question. We're running out of time. There was one anonymous attendee who said that we mentioned the chatbot can go live in 8 days. What kind of setup are we talking about here? I think you mentioned that with the Colliers International. They worked really hard as a team, and
it was team effort. So they had, I think they had like 3 to 4 bot whisperers there training the bots. But together they put together those frequently asked questions, collected those, and then taught those to the bot. And as said, then after 8 days they went live. So team effort.
To add kind of a technical side on that, so basically there is no technical side.
That's true.
If they're using one of the 15 or so already supported live chat platforms we have, we take care of that. And if they're using the standalone chatbot, we can provide an easy to implement widget on the website, so it's all taken care of.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to answer this one because it follows into the next slide. Lena, yes, we will give you the slides afterwards. There's going to be a nice little email coming to you later today, which will have the slides, of course, where you can get all your information. And then there's also going to be a little Christmas gift in the email as well. So you'll find out more when you get the email later on today. Another thing is, you can wait for the slide to click on these two buttons, or you can of course go to our website. You can check out more of our information on the Learning Center, or if you want to talk to Ilkka or any of his team of business development managers about getting a chatbot on your website, book a consultation with him or one of the other members of his team, and they'll guide you through the entire process. Thank you so much for attending this webinar, and it's been a real pleasure talking to you, Ilkka, and to you, Annu. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.